Hello, Tim from Fair Play Now on the 25th of May 2022, and I thought what I'd do with this video is just kind of come out with some personal reflections and views of mine on a couple of topical subjects, shall we call them. So first of all, the monkeypox. Let's talk about that. And I saw something quite interesting. The November Hotel Sierra, apparently on their website, they had some information on this particular disease, which has been there for a good while. And apparently, I've only heard this through the grapevine. I don't know if it's kind of totally true, but it wouldn't surprise me given what we've been through over the last couple of years. But apparently where they're talking about this ailment on this site, they used to have paragraphs and sentences on there basically downplaying how serious the thing is, just saying things like monkeypox is very hard to transmit and therefore you're very unlikely to catch it, and if you do catch it, most people only have mild symptoms and recover without any kind of intervention or treatment and things like this. But apparently at some point between November of last year and now, those kind of sentences and paragraphs have been deleted off the website, and so it's really essentially it's making the thing now sound more scary. So you've really got to ask yourself what is going on there, and it just seems like more of the scaremongery to me, really. So very interesting, don't you think? And if you've got any more news as to sort of how true that is or not, that'd be excellent to hear. Going on to, before I go on to the next thing, little bit of news for you. I did see on one of my news sources, apparently the November Hotel Sierra are going to be dropping the requirement for muzzles for both their staff and also sort of patients as well, from this coming Monday. So I saw that report, and it doesn't necessarily mean every single trust is going to adhere to it, but apparently the recommendation for dropping the things, or at least just making them a voluntary thing rather than a compulsory thing, is sort of very strong. Because in this country, in England, pretty much the last bastion of muzzleage is any kind of health setting. You go into sort of any kind of health type place, dentist, sort of doctors, hospitals, whatever it might be, clinics, physiotherapists and stuff, and they're always wearing the muzzles still, and some of them still want you to do it. Although if you kind of firmly say no, they don't tend to really argue with you too much these days. But it would be nice if the last bastion of muzzleage kind of falls from this coming Monday. Anyway, let's move on to the next topical bit of news I want to give my opinion on, and the whole Ukraine thing. I've always thought the whole thing is, well, there's more to it than meets the eye, put it that way. And apparently people have been saying over the last few weeks that Russia is very likely to be defeated by the Ukraine, and I don't think that is going to be the case personally. I think Russia as a power is far in excess of what the Ukraine is, and it's not just my opinion. I did see a video, I can't remember where it was, so I can't really recommend you to go and see it, because I can't remember where it is, but you don't really need to see it. But because the upshot of it was that this guy, who I think is an ex-US Army colonel, so someone who knows what he's talking about, in other words, and he reckons that Russia going into Ukraine is akin to the United States invading northern Mexico. Should they ever decided to do that, there's not really anything the Mexicans could do apart from putting up a valiant fight for a few months, but there's no way the USA would ever be able to lose that. And it's kind of the same scenario with Russia and Ukraine. And so I think, Russia will definitely win. Sometimes they kind of have a poor start but come good in the end with these things, as history has proved. So I don't think there's any way they can lose, and probably sort of victory will come to them in the not too distant future. So that's my thoughts, as well as the whole thing being a distraction, of course, to distract us away from things that we should be looking at instead. So the third thing I want to talk about is the treatment that we have been trying to avoid so kind of desperately over the last sort of year or so. And I saw a very interesting clip with the kind of CEO of, there's a few of these companies. One starts with PF, one starts with AZ, and then there's another one which starts with MOD, isn't there? Which is more in America rather than in the UK. I don't think it's ever been used in the UK, that one. But apparently the CEO has said, I'm just about to throw 30 million servings of the thing into the garbage because nobody wants them anymore. So I thought that was a very heartening thing to see. Looks like demand for the thing is completely and utterly collapsing. So actually that was just a little aside. The third topical thing I want to talk about is the forthcoming Queen's Jubilee, the 70th anniversary of her ascending to the throne as Queen of England and Scotland and everywhere else. So everybody is getting very excited about that, and I don't think I've ever really revealed on these videos what my view of the royal family actually is. To be honest with you, I've never really been that bothered about them. And even way back, I remember when I was 17, it was the Charles Diana wedding, and whereas everybody else were sort of sitting in front of their TV screens watching the ceremony and everything, I was just out and about on my motorbike instead, enjoying some very quiet roads indeed. And interestingly enough, the very next day, which I think was the 30th of July 1981, I actually passed my driving test as well. And it was really easy because I don't know what happened, but not many people seem to have sort of gone back to work on that particular morning. So whether they were having a day off to recover from hangovers and stuff, I don't know, but the roads were really quiet, and I just sort of had a really nice drive around, enjoying the very sort of quiet roads of a busy town. And I was told at the end of it I'd passed my test, so that was great. But yeah, it just shows you I was more concerned about riding my motorbike and passing my sort of car driving test than I was about the royal wedding there. And I think my attitude towards the royal family, all the way from them, from that kind of time, all the way through to relatively recently, was I'm not really into the whole thing, but they don't bother me. So I kind of really regard them as in the same way as a distant planet in the solar system, and it's there. Doesn't really have any effect on me and my life, but just as I wouldn't wish kind of destruction on I don't know the planet Neptune, I wouldn't have wished the destruction or disappearance of the royal family. But given what's happened over the last couple of years and the facts, what I've learned about the royal family and other things, my sort of view on them has changed quite a bit. And I think you can sum it up with a meme I saw quite recently, and it basically said, just showed the Queen wearing her crown, and it said, when you're wealthy enough to end world hunger, but instead you choose to wear a hat worth £39 million. And yeah, I think that says it all. She's got so much wealth. Don't know if she's got enough wealth to end all world poverty, but she could certainly make serious inroads to sort of hunger and homelessness and poverty in this country, in the UK at least, and maybe sort of donate a lot of money to have sort of new hospitals built every few years. And yet she doesn't really ever do anything like that. You just have to ask yourself why. If I had that kind of money that she's got, I think I would be doing a lot more good in the world than she is. So yeah, I think that sums it up, my attitudes. And I think, like the rest of the establishment, the royal family have shown themselves in a very poor light, having a go at people who choose bodily autonomy, and generally sort of either pushing the narrative or at least acquiescing to it without speaking out for any kind of truth and sort of decency, really. And like the rest of the establishment, I would like to see it all disappear, really. So I think I've rattled on long enough here. Just a few thoughts for you on some very topical points, and I'll be back tomorrow, no doubt, with some more gems. Tim from Fair Play Now, thanks for watching.